Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here. This video is another episode of Forbidden Archaeology. This is probably the most forbidden archaeology I'm ever sharing on here thus far. So I have recorded this different times in different places, and it's kind of cobbled together. So if I repeat a little bit here and there, I ask your apologies. So this is about Skinwalker Ranch, and especially the Fremonts that were there, but also other people there. So first of all, let me tell you what Skinwalker Ranch is. Skinwalker Ranch, very spooky place. You cannot go on it. So it used to be privately owned, and it's had people there for thousands of years, all the way back to the Ice Age. There's evidence of people all the way back to the Ice Age there, and different tribes, different times, all the way up to the Fremont, and then historic times, Utes, Navajo, and even today, like the Buffalo Soldiers. And I'll get into that on this. I'm going to be doing a GPS tour around and kind of showing you some of the different things. This is not an all-encompassing thing because, let's get into what Skinwalker Ranch is first. So it's got legends of all kinds of spooky things there, all kinds of strange paranormal things. The Navajo, the Duchesne, say that because the Utes were doing bad things and they cursed the land, and the path of the Skinwalker goes right through the range, and the path of the Skinwalker is a curse on the Ute people, on those Ute lands. The place itself, in the 1990s, the Sherman family bought the ranch, and the Sherman family was having all kinds of crazy stuff happen, cattle mutilations, UFOs, paranormal stuff, all kinds of crazy stuff that doesn't make sense. And it was so legitimate that the government got involved. The government bought the ranch, and under Robert Bigelow of Bigelow Aerospace, he oversaw the project as a government contractor, but the government was researching the ranch all through the 90s and documented all kinds of crazy things that were very legitimate. Then in the early 2000s, it was purchased by real estate tycoon Brandon Fugel, who's one of the coolest guys you will ever meet. He is passionate and cool, and he wanted to know the truth. He didn't believe the claims, and he wanted to do experiments to find out what the truth was about it. So he bought the ranch, and they're still teamed up with government contractors, and the military is still involved with this ongoing research. And turns out it's legitimate stuff. Crazy stuff happens, and now the person living on the ranch full-time is lead investigator Eric Bard, who also is one of the coolest and most brilliant people you will ever meet. He's an amazing man. He lives on the ranch 24/7, but people come on and off, contractors and researchers of all kinds. Then about 5-6 years ago, the History Channel said, hey, we would like to team up with you and for part of the year film a documentary series showing what's happening. And they courted Brandon on that, and eventually he's like, you know what, it would be good for people to be aware of this information and getting it out. And so for, the summer months up through October, they have a film crew that films and documents the experiments being done, and that show is the Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, which you can see on the History Channel. Now, my role is in biology. My background is in biology and raptor biology, and a lot of crazy things were happening on the ranch, so I started to get invited out. And this video is not about that. You can watch the show or you can do some presentations online, but that's how I got involved. And of course, I'm also very interested in the archaeology of the site. And so the principal archaeologist on the site currently is Chris Roberts, who's an amazing man. He's really, really cool, down to earth, awesome, and a living legend. And but some of the archaeology on the ranch is really cool. And because that's what I'm focusing on this channel, I thought I wanted to share it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do kind of like a virtual tour, show some videos around the area. I'll do a little intro that I recorded, just off site, and then I'm going to do a Google Maps tour and kind of show you around and explain to you where some of the stuff is. Now, this is not an all-encompassing tell-all, because there's most of the stuff I'm not even allowed to share because I have to sign NDAs. But I want people to be aware. What I'm hoping to do with this channel is I want people to be able to see, to piece things together, to have this imaginary map in their head, and for it to be filled with all these amazing sites so they understand, oh, there's a much richer, deeper history that went on right under our feet all over the place. And since people are not allowed on the ranch at all, then this is the only way you're ever going to find out about these things. So I'm being very careful to make sure that I am only sharing things that I am authorized to talk about or authorized to that have been on the show already. Otherwise, I'm not allowed to talk about it, but I think you're going to like it. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'll do my little intro I recorded on site. And again, if I repeat a little here and there, my apologies. But let's go ahead and jump in on this. Hello, everybody. Ben Woodruff here. And in today's video, I'm recording this unexpectedly. And my mic is about to die. And I wasn't even planning on recording. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm part of the Skinwalker Ranch team. I do the biological surveys, and I've been a biological consultant for 5-6 years. And I'm also on the show, and I've got wasps coming after me right now. Yeah, it's like it's cursed. So anyways, today we're filming on the ranch, and the call time got moved. Instead of 10 a.m., it's going to be like 1 p.m. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to record an interesting blurb about this area, about the Skinwalker Ranch phenomenon, and also the Utes in this area. So this area is Ute land. Utes have been here for a very long time. We've had people, we don't know all of who, but for over 10,000 years coming up and over the Uinta Mountains and into the Uinta Basin, all the way to the Ice Age. And the Utes are the tribe that is here now, and there's the Ute Reservation, and there's a strong, prominent presence of this tribe here in this area. Well, we know that earlier, the Fremonts were here. Now, the Fremont people, give or take, generally are thought of as being from about, 180 to about 1250 AD. In the Uinta Basin, right where I am, is the last stronghold of the Fremont, up until about 1300 AD, which is noteworthy. Now, in this area, why is it called Skinwalker Ranch? Skinwalker Ranch is just right over here. I'm off the ranch because I can't film on the ranch because all the NDAs. But it is said that there were ancient disputes between the Ute tribe and the Navajo tribe, who call themselves the Duchesne. So that's how I'll refer to them. The Navajo and the Duchesne, certain disputes and conflicts that happened that I won't get into on this video. And the Duchesne cursed the Utes and cursed the path of the Skinwalker, so that evil and Skinwalker and bad stuff would come forth. On the ranch, in that location where the Duchesne say is this path of the Skinwalker, we have anomalies happen all the time. So it's noteworthy. That's not why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up to talk about the Fremont, because the Fremont definitely had a strong presence on the ranch. We have found a rich archaeological debutage. I can't get into it too much. Some of it will end up on the show. But again, we know the Fremont were in the Uinta Basin, and we know they had a very strong presence here on Skinwalker Ranch. But in addition to that, the Mesa, Skinwalker Mesa, right where it curves out of the ranch and onto the tribe, there is a beautiful petroglyph panel. I can't show it, again, because it's on tribal land. We had tribal archaeologists and state archaeologists take us to the site to check it out. It's beautiful. It is, and it is the most stereotypical Fremont petroglyph panel you'll ever see, with the big trapezoidal figures and headdresses, and it's gorgeous on the side. I'll show you on a 3D GPS where it is. I don't mind showing it because you're going to have to get past private land and tribal land to get to it, so it's not. And it was at that point that my microphone died. Of course it did. So let's talk first about the area in general, because the whole Skinwalker Ranch area is right adjacent to the Ute tribal lands. And when you're coming into there, the kind of the center hub is the Ute Tribal Plaza. It's a really cool place. It's not huge, but there's a lot happening in a very little area. So there's a really cool, like a grocery store that has all your normal things you'd want, but it also has a lot of tribal and ceremonial type things that would be, desired for certain ways of life. And it's really cool to see this mix and this profusion of multiple cultures in one place. Now, there right out front, there is this big statue of what looks like a kind of a stereotypical Native American chief. Now, a lot of people would see this image and call it a stereotype, and yet Ute warriors would wear the eagle feather headdress. This was traditionally made out of 1-year-old golden eagle tail feathers, but we see this image all over, and again, it's kind of a stereotypical icon of what people think Native Americans look like. But again, the Utes were one of the few tribes that actually did wear this eagle feather war bonnet. So it is actually kind of cool to have this statue right out front there. Now there's also across the street, it looks like they've got a new grill and a bowling alley and some fun stuff over there I haven't been to yet. I'm going to have to visit. There's also the Justice Center, which is kind of a really cool building. Kind of looks almost like a stylized version of a teepee. And across the way, you have also the gas station where you can get the best fried chicken. It's really, really good. I highly recommend you get it if you go into Fort Duchesne. And there's also kind of a memorial park, memorializing, veterans and all those who have gone before. It's a cool place to visit as well. This area is kind of fueled by Bottle Hollow Reservoir. Now, the interesting thing about Bottle Hollow, it is a man-made reservoir, and it helps to better regulate the water of the region. A lot of Native Americans go and recreate there. The thing is, there are lots of paranormal claims that happen in this lake. I've talked to many individuals who have seen things, and even things supposedly coming out of the water, which it does not have some deep, long-term history. It's a fairly recent reservoir. But again, things happen there over the reservoir and occasionally from in it coming up. So it's a very interesting site and something worth noting for the whole area. But again, all the water gets flowed down. There's cool, reservoirs and a lot of waterways in the area to kind of funnel water into this desert area. It's a unique place, and Fort Duchesne is tiny, but it's got a lot of soul, and I love it. So let's, I'm going to go ahead, let's get on Google Earth here. And so we're going to zoom in here, and we're going to give you the tour. So this right here, Skinwalker Ranch, it's shaped a very interesting way, the ranch itself. Now if you see this ridge, this is called Skinwalker Ridge. And again, I can't talk about a lot of things, but I'm going to talk about what I've been authorized to talk about or what has appeared on the show. And I'm tying this back in to the Native American history and ancient history of the area. So first of all, I'm going to back out a little bit here, and we're going to see how close. This is where that Bottle Hollow Reservoir is. And again, it's quite big for the region, and a lot of strange stuff happens there. So as we're heading south from it, the ridges, there'll be a ridge, and then it drops down, and then another ridge, and it drops down another ridge until it hits Skinwalker Ranch. And Skinwalker Ranch follows this ridge. So first of all, let's go over here to the front gate. Now, if you go to the gate at Skinwalker Ranch, you'll have all these signs saying, do not enter, you're on cameras, and don't mess with it. The guards are really cool, but don't mess with them. The funny thing is, right here, this is another property line, and there's a guy who runs a UFO camp where you can go and see stuff, and he's got a sign right there saying, hey, if you want to come see the ranch, but it's not being on the ranch. So he's got a little advertisement right there. So I cannot tell you what has been found, but if you see this cut out area, this little rectangle here, just beyond that, in this region, some very profound and very old archaeological items have been found, and archaeologist Chris Roberts is handling that right now, and that will be forthcoming. But some really profound stuff right there by the guard station, which is pretty incredible. So then, moving up the way here, up on the ranch, in this little alcove here, it's a golden eagle nest right here, which is always cool to see. And then up on this hill, it doesn't look that steep, but it is. This has been on the show, and so I feel safe to talk about it. If you look here, you can see sort of this area that is a different color, and you can see this big giant square rock in the middle. There are petroglyphs on this, and this appears to have been an ancient sacred site, and it's very intentional. When you see it, there's nothing like it. If you see it on the show, this doesn't look like anything on here, but this was definitely an important and ritual site, and is still considered sacred to this day. So going back down into the ranch, if you see These big giant rocks here, these boulders have petroglyphs on them that are very far back, like probably going back as far as the Archaic period. They're probably not Fremont. They're a little more simplistic. Some of them seem to be celestial imagery, from like star mapping kind of things. But that is something that is right there. There are petroglyphs all along here, and there's artifacts anywhere on the ranch, but that's a very important area that has been on the show. Okay, this right here is the main homestead and the command center and the helicopter pad. And this right here, this line going down, this fence line, is the path of the Skinwalker. And that is where when the Utes supposedly cursed, or when the Navajo, the Dene supposedly cursed the Utes, they have the path of the Skinwalker, and it goes literally right there, right along the ranch. This is noteworthy because so many crazy things have happened here. I can't mention much, but I will mention that this is where, right here under this tree, this is where a cow died on camera, a UFO, first season, a UFO, broad daylight on camera over a cow, then the cow buckles and dies. And after it died, it contorted in strange ways that I documented. There's been, I think, 3 cattle deaths just along this fence line. This tree right here was in a later season where there's this strange hole that appears going right through it. So that's another thing. So, and then also right here as well, there's in one of the earlier seasons this middle of the day, this big giant metallic ball appeared, and that was right there. So worth noting. Okay, now from here, if we're back up by the main homestead here, there are petroglyphs also on these cliff faces, including there is a Masonic symbol, and the Buffalo Soldiers in the 1800s camped here, and there's debutage and archaeological remains left from them, and they chiseled a Masonic symbols into the side there, which is noteworthy and of interest. God, there's so many things I want to talk about right here that I can't. This is the famous triangle where this region, so much has happened here. And you got to watch the show. Got to watch the show to be able to see everything that's happened here. I guess, well, yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can say and what I can't say, and I better err on the side of caution. Okay, this area right here, this is the drill site, and this entire mountainside is falling in on itself and has been for the past 6 years. And this is a very curious site. We're not exactly sure what's going on there, but lots of archaeology has been coming out of that mesa. And we've seen in the last season where some strange ceramics with metallic properties have come out from deep inside the mesa. And archaeologist Chris Roberts will be giving more information on that in coming days. Okay, so we're going to back out now. And this ridge here, again, this is Skinwalker Ridge. If we zoom out here, if you can see this whole ridge line. And if we follow it back up almost to the freeway, there is another very important archaeological site. Right, here we go. Now, I'm pointing this out because this is on private land, and we had to have a tribal archaeologist and a state archaeologist show us in order to be able to go here. So on this ridge, up here, up at the top, there are some incredible Fremont petroglyphs, beautifully chiseled into the rock. And from in these boulder pile down here and all down below in what is now just a bunch of sagebrush, there are tons of artifacts. There's, bits of pottery and bits of flakes of, flint and chert and agate. And so it seems like there probably would have been a Fremont village right here with some pit houses that have since, returned to the earth. I know Pete Kelsey did a LiDAR scan and some photogrammetry scans of this ridge, but I don't know if he did this land down below either. But if he does, that information will be forthcoming. So the important thing to remember on all this, if you see this ridge line, the Skinwalker Ridge runs east-west, and then it turns and it starts to run north-south. And it goes up eventually all the way to the Uinta Mountains, which these are the tallest mountains in Utah. And you can see these were just a bunch of glaciers. You can see all these glacial moraines formed up here. And we know that ever since Clovis times, people would go up and over these into Wyoming here, into these flats. And this is where tiger chert came from. If you see my video on banded tiger chert, we know there is a line where people anciently would cross over the Uintas and come down in here to the Uinta Basin and all the way down to Skinwalker Ranch. I've been doing this for over 10,000 years, which is pretty cool. So again, there is a rich history from all the way to the Ice Age, coming all the way to historic times, including the Buffalo Soldiers. So the Skinwalker Ranch has so much history and so many strange and unusual sites. There is a lot more archaeology that will be coming out soon, and I'm excited for it to come out. I'm excited for Chris Roberts to share it because he's a really cool man and an excellent archaeologist, and it will be great to have him reveal what has been found. Especially the stuff I'm really excited about is right here at the gate was found. I can't tell you, but it's pretty mind-blowing what has been found right here. So right next to the front gate, it's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little whirlwind tour about the Fremonts of Skinwalker Ranch, and it's a little different, a little bit of forbidden archaeology. But if you enjoyed this video, if you'd hit subscribe, I very much appreciate it. It helps me keep this up and going. And always remember that life is a gift. So never stop learning and never stop exploring. We'll see you next time.